Two, one. Croeso, croeso, croeso! Welcome back to Britain's Hidden History. Episode number 124. Wow, they said it would never last. Take it away, Leon. Right, evening all. Hello. Hey, Marshall Abrams back on form. She's there first. Wilson and Johnny Nigma. Hello, Johnny. Johnny Powell. Wilson and Blackett looking very cool and suave there in that photograph. Yes, that's from back in the 80s, I think. Gary Taylor, good evening all. Always near the beginning. Albert Tickle. Is that a new name? Albert? Hello, good to see you. Very welcome. Croeso. Welsh rates. I've been looking forward to this all week. I wonder what music we're going to get tonight. Right, something from the musical tonight. Maybe let's get a little bit of a snippet. Today's show's right at the heart of everything. Definitely the heart of Wilson and Blackett's work. And what we're looking at is a request last week as well on the comments. So we thought, why not? Let's do it. Hey, very good. Thank you, Leon. And someone asked about, they're doing research into the Lichfield area, which is all around Tamworth, Staffordshire, that sort of West Midlands, which happens to tie in very nicely with what we're talking about with the Mercians last week. If you're following last week's show, you'll know they were the Vandals. They'd gone rampaging down through Italy, across into North Africa, and then they'd gone wading their way up Ireland, then Britain, carved through South Wales. This is why we get the tush, the story of the wild boar hunt, because this giant boar, which represents the Vandals, chased them all through Wales and eventually settled in the West Midlands, which is partly why this area, which is so important to our history, was pretty much forgotten. It sort of stopped being British. And it's such a shame that it's not remembered because it's crucially important. Like, where were the ancient British kings buried? Where was the capital? You know, we're talking pre-Roman and during the so-called Roman period when this is going on. So it's an immensely important site. You can still visit there, that's the good news. You can still see the burial mounds. You can still see the story in the place names. It's all there. And as I'm going to show, a lot of it you can see from Google Earth. So wherever you are in the world, you can log in and you can have a pretty look around and see if you can find some more clues and places. As I always like to say on this program, it's not yet destroyed, it's only hidden. Although tragically, we've got more bad news on things being destroyed, but not all of it goes through tonight. But we do have to record these things, visit them while you can, take loads of pictures, write about it, make more people aware of it, make it more and more difficult for them to stick houses on it or destroy these places. But no, we're doing this partly, I'm doing it because I love it. I want to see the places. I think it's important. It fascinates me. Also doing it for our grandchildren. And I think it was Cicero who said way back, supposedly in ancient Roman times, to have no knowledge of your past is to remain ever a child. You know, you do need your history. You need to know about the past. Okay. So thank you, Welsh Relics. British Freedom Force. Oh my goodness, slightly provocative name there. I'm Marshall. I bought another Waddell book today that you might be interested in. A Sumer-Aryan Dictionary. Ooh, okay. One left on Amazon. I think they want rid of them. Thanks, Ron. Legolas. Hey, Lego. Yeah, sorry I couldn't make it last week up to Cairo. We're a bit worried about what's going to happen to Cairo. Ancient Fort boys have been doing some great work on that. Keith, Lego, John. And we're going to have to do a report. You're going to have to can't avoid it. Trying so hard to stay out of these kind of things and just do the history. Because I think that's where the problems began for Wilson and Blackett. But when it slaps you in the face and you can't avoid it, it's difficult to know what to say, isn't it? Right, what we got Lego? Hi guys, looking forward to this one. Old Arthur first, yes. Anthun. Definitely needs some limelight to think he was based in what is now England. Yes. Yeah, no Wales in tonight's show. How about that? That's all these people think it's just a Welsh thing. It's Warwickshire, really. Warwickshire, Staffordshire, up on the border. Used to be, all British, but hey, what can you say? Meg W. Hello everyone, Marshall's picked us again. Yes, everyone, the kids don't know, a little game we play, who gets on first. Because my preparation is a little bit haphazard, so the time that the sort of preview caption thing was up on YouTube can vary dramatically. I think the earliest is about 4:30, and the latest is probably about 1 minute to 8. Hi Graham, looks like a good show, good to see you. Oh yeah, I want to see you again soon, we haven't spoken for ages. Kenneth Mackay, evening Ross, hello chat. Right, loads of people on board. Right, a couple more hellos while people are logging on so I can see the numbers going up all the time. Charlie Silverman, is there any ancient British festivals that coincide around mushroom season? I don't know, it's quite a long season, isn't it? Suzanne Price, good afternoon from sunny Vancouver. Wow, isn't that amazing? Wow, all around the world. Daniel Bryant, right, the Great Griff. Hey, the Great Griff is here. Adam, good to see it. Don't forget, check out the Great Griff channel. And Adam, you need to put some more new stuff up, please. More videos. Hello, Mark Austin, Charlie John. Right, there's loads of messages. Great to see. Good chat. So if you're new, I know it's grown every week, so someone must be new here tonight. Really what we're looking at is our history. It's not revisionist history. This is not an attempt to rewrite history. What we're illustrating is that the current revision that's taking place is not the only one. It's always gone on. Some of these revisions go right back to medieval time. And the big one really was the start of the 1700s when the Hanoverians were placed on the throne. And all the old British history got... I mean, it started in the 17th century for reasons we won't go into tonight. They're getting rid of all the British history and replacing it with, the thing like the Welsh, Scots and Irish are Celts, which is nonsense. English all Anglo-Saxons, again, not happening. Massively inflated Roman invasion, all this kind of thing. What we're trying to do is look at the old sources, the old books, and see if it is nonsense. See if it is just myths and legends. Is it just nonsense? Or actually, can you go and visit the sites? And they always check out. The places are where they're supposed to be, as is the evidence, as shown out in the place names as well. And that's what we look at, all right? So it's hit that like button. Thank you, Mr. Purnell. Jimbo Muxi. Danielle. Hey Ross, that renewable application said about in Penrail is for a solar farm, not a wind farm. Not scrape, but not so bad. All our hills are getting covered with something. If you watch the news, thank you, Danielle. Mentioned Danielle's event as well. If mentioned the news, I think you're talking, it was Scotland, and they're selling there rather worryingly. There's some political knockabout about whether or not they should have nuclear power in Scotland. And the answer was, we don't need to. We've got this massive natural resource. And what they're basically referring to is the hills. Scotland, Wales. Not so much England for some reason. There we go. Arcadia. Here in Bavaria, we celebrate St. John fire in summer, with light fires on Alp summits. St. John is the saint of the summer, Jesus of winter. Wow, that is interesting. Thank you from Bavaria. I didn't know about that at all. Hello, Susanna. Hello, David Church. Just managed to get past the Google sign-in. It's getting annoying. Catch up later. Okay. Right, okay, I should just... I think let's get started, because we've got loads of news. Now, I have to warn you in advance, the main presentation is a slight jumble with the pictures. Story's okay, the pictures are okay. Get up to quite match requires full rehearsals and all that kind of thing, which... oh, man, it's been a busy week. I told you everything that's happened this week. I'd say hello to Brad if he's out there. I haven't seen his name come up yet. He came all the way from London to see me, and I was looking forward to a chat with him. Little did I expect that it was so fascinating. It was like 4 or 5 hours of one day, another 4 or 5 hours the next day. And there's been lots of stuff going on. With Richard Hall as well, been doing some work with him. And all in all, time's gone. But anyways, it's all there. It's great. You're going to love this. It's really fantastic. Yep, there's our two heroes, Wilson and Blackett. If you're new, you don't know them. They're the ones I always describe it. When we got to the 1980s, the destruction of British history was almost complete. There's no one even knew about it, really. It was getting to that point. Well, I would say it was hanging on by its fingernails on the edge of the cliff. And Wilson and Blackett reached down, grabbed it, and pulled it up to the top. And our job is to make sure it doesn't slide back down again. I'll try and get a bit further up the leg up. And I got a funny feeling, I must talk about this at some point, that things are changing. And they're changing in our favour. And that British history is not to be such a taboo next year. So I'll just leave you pondering on that one. I don't know if I can catch up with the comments soon. Comments? That's all right, because I've been working on the comments as well the last few days. The other thing I'll do, part of this group, you'll be well ahead of the game, knowing when the new books are coming out. I've got stacks and stacks. Wilson and Blackett work. I have to do the written work as well as the videos. Right, anyway, news update. Oh, gosh, sorry, so much text. I hate doing that to people. But, oh, I spelled Monica wrong. Oh, no. Look away. Ah, I got to correct that. Hang on. Oh, my goodness. This first slide. Second slide, technically, I suppose. Right, Monica Escobar, not Escobar. At last, now, just to give you a bit of background to this, Monica has been an integral part of all this and keeping Wilson and Blackett going. Monica's got their, what's it called? King Arthur 1 and 2 Facebook group, which a lot of us found. It was the only thing going for a long time when the books are being forgotten, Wilson and Blackett being forgotten. Monica helped keep the thing alive, and she lives over in Mercian, actually German. Rather than, I'll just jump to the map quickly to put that in, to give you an idea where we're sort of talking about. Although this is an ancient map, so it's a bit more difficult. Where's my cursor? There it is. I'm supposed to have a bigger one. Anyway, there we go. This is the area we're sort of talking, sort of Switzerland, Italy, Germany. It's really useful. I've used this whole map because no one's got a clue. We've got a rough idea, okay? And the idea is, on the original migrations, gosh, the trouble is, it's able to throw too much in. Oh yeah, thank you to Darren and, hang on, oh no, I wrote it down, Petsinia, oh I'm really sorry, I know you've got your name wrong, but you know who you are, and it was lovely to meet you at Friday, at Richard's stand in Merthyr. I took some pictures as well, I'll upload them at some point. Anyway, Richard Hall's stand, a great stand up in Merthyr. It was so nice to meet people. I went up there as well, loads of people come up saying hello, having selfies and buying books and chatting about all this stuff. It was great. So I'll flag up when next month's coming along. Hopefully more people come along and hang out. It's great. Meet the great man. And I'll keep you amused while you're waiting for him. I'll try to. So if you go back to the biggest part of British history, if you like, that's been missed out is the origins, which is the migrations. So we have the two main migrations. The land seemed to be uninhabited for various reasons. We're going to another night. Around up until about 2000 BC, when people started to arrive back, it would seem, or for the first time, whichever you prefer. You got those Albine migrations, sort of 1700s BC. Then the one which is more pertinent to tonight is the Brutus migrations, around 500 BC. And the story goes, after the fall of Troy, around 650 BC. So Troy will be over here somewhere, in Turkey, Anatolia. Yes, we know there's a British Trojan War as well, about 1100 BC. That's another story. This is the trouble. When the feedback I get, people say, I've got to be careful not to wander off too much, but it's almost impossible because everything ties in with everything. So if you get a bit stuck, if there's bits you don't understand, please feel free to ask on the questions, on the comments, because there are lots of people who know this stuff every bit as well as me, if not better, and they've been following every show since the beginning. The loyalty and the tightness of this group is fantastic, so get involved, make friends, do research, do projects. There's so many things starting off the back of this, it's great. So they came to Etruria, the Welsh word there, Tre, which represents the three rivers they crossed to get there, is where the name comes from. And then some have gone up to Raisha, which is where Monica is, this important area. And then a few generations later, this is Ennius. Then you come down to Brutus, who, the prophecy kills his father and his mother, and he's cast out of Italy, and he comes back, or he waits and summons the remaining half of the Britons in Anatolia, the Cymry, and they sail off all the way around here, around the side of Spain, and up into Britain. They're their important migrations. Now, something that clicked if you're watching last week, or maybe it was on the Facebook chat or something. Because we have a Facebook group, Britain's Hidden History, all one word. Please come along, very welcome, just keep it friendly and polite. That's all we ask. You can have different opinions, no problem. But we don't have those sort of bun fights that you hear about on some social media. Right, so an interesting thing here, if you look at the basis of what the Celts are all about, a lot of it is to do what's called Latin culture, which is in this sort of area, and you've got the Hallstatt find. These are the two big finds. So what they did then, and I've always attacked this because they have this idea that because they find certain shapes of pots or, whatever it is they find, relics and stuff, they as soon as they find them somewhere else, they say, aha, they must be the same people. They must be the same people over there as over there, 'cause they've got the same sort of pots. I know it sounds ridiculous, but look it up. This is the basis of Celtic, the whole thing being Celtic theory. They don't seem to like with the fact that the pots and things could be used for trading goods back and forth, or people copy styles, or gifts, or booty captured in wars, 100 explanations. And it's all assumed to have started in this part of Europe, because that's where they dug first. It doesn't even mean they're the oldest, it's where they dug first. It could be that all the pots there come from something completely different and ended up there. It is starting to fall apart, that theory, a bit, this idea that everyone's Celtic across Europe are migrated. But what we pointed out was, it suddenly clicked that finding the same pots in that area as you do in Britain makes perfect sense. Not because of the Celtic drift, but because this is the two places the Britons or the Celts, shoot me, the Cymry went. So I said that to Monica on one of our Facebook chats. Monica got very excited. Oh, yeah, so this is part of your history as well. It's not just Wales. So Monica, in his own style, I mean, tons of research, and it's like, ta-da, at last, look what I found. Very excited, dear friends. I translated it in English for you because it's in German. I finally just found an academic source that officially admits that the Rhaetians are related to the Etruscans, which then is the Britons as well, and that the people today are considered not Celtic or even Indo-German. There you go. That's fantastic, isn't it? This is a hunch about not being original because someone's already done it. In the Alpine campaign in 15 BC, conquered area of today's Graubünden, Vorarlberg, southern Bavaria, and Upper Swabia. This is where Monica's ancestors are born, and Monica lives in Upper Swabia, between the western Lake Constance, the Danube, and the Inn River and northern Tyrol. It was first known as the military district of Rhaetia et Vendelicia, from the survey to the province, only called Rhaetia. In the course of the Diocletian imperial reforms of the early 4th century, Rhaetia was divided into 2 sub-provinces, blah, blah, blah. So you can read that yourself. Isn't that fantastic? And there it is on the map. And that shows a connection, possible connection, not related to the Celts around it. So why is it the people around here are Celts or Germans and they aren't? How do you explain that? None of the conventional explanations or their consensus fits. The migration story fits perfectly and also explains the link with the goods over in Britain. So that's really exciting. And well done, Monica, for finding it. It's good to know you're happy with the news. And this website, I've mentioned this a couple of times, and I have reached out to this David Nash Ford. It's really, it's done some great stuff, and the reason this was sent to me was, you can see now, well, you could, except it's off the bottom of the page. Hang on, bear with me 1 second. Hang on. I thought I had this. Just 2 seconds. We'll have to load it up on a different page. Right, here we go. Right, a slight delay there. Not too bad. Here we go. Right, so this map, I don't know how... all his sources for this, he hasn't really explained. But it's very interesting, and there's quite a bit of this I'd probably disagree a little bit with. One is the Gwisse have disappeared. They're not there. They should be there, the Gwisse. Baden is this idea of Bath being Baden. You know, this would be the Gwisse, actually, this area. That's the Gwisse. There's Gwissig and Gwent. There's, can I zoom in? No zoom in. Please no zoom in. No, I can't. But what I wanted to point out, which you don't see on many maps, this is where we're talking about today. Lloydcoit. It's there, look. This is Mercia before it gets too big. Then we've got Gluvia, which became Gloucester. And there's Kerin. Fascinating map. I love all this. Not using the Roman names. That's one thing I like about it. We got Essling. Sling becomes Siluris, becomes corrupted. Probably. You can see it there, sorry. This area. That's the one I was looking for. There we go. Aegon. We talked about it last week. I said I hadn't really heard about it too much. Well, there it is. Aegon. Just on a sort of 7 between what's now England and Wales. Alright, so there we are. I thought it was an interesting map. Hope you appreciate that one. Thank you to Helen for sending me that. Yes, if you've got stuff like this you want to send me, that's brilliant. I always try and give a mention who found it. Yeah, the other part of this was a bit strange, was who's this cat? And Fidak and Ke. Don't know what's really going on up there, it's quite interesting. North Reggae, the Northern Britain lands, but anyway, there we go. I could, as I sometimes drift off, like I'm starting to sort of just go, where's that there? Start looking up these names and trying to find out who is Fidak and Kieran and things like that. Yes. No, Helen as well. They did point out to me one of the places to look is on is that what we have here is it's on Wikipedia, wasn't it? And what absolutely amazed me, I want to go through the whole thing about Ergun, you can look it up yourself sometime. But look at this. This amazed me on Wikipedia. After the withdrawal of the Roman legions, right, well, we know that's not quite right, but anyway, we know what we're talking about. New, smaller political entities took the place of the centralised structure. The area, Ergun, was originally part of the Kingdom of Glusing, modern Glamorgan, and Kingdom of Gwent, exactly as Wilson and Blackett explains. That was pre-internet, pre-Wikipedia. But seems to become independent for a period under Paibio Clavrog in the 5th or 6th century, and again under Grafroddo Hen in the early 7th century. And you can see all these people on the family trees that we produced from Wilson and Blackett's work. So he's the grandfather of St. Dubricius, i.e. Dyfrig, the first bishop of Ergun, and an important figure in the establishment of Christianity. So it's all to do with this. Right, most important, Dubricius' cousin Guggenvawr was one of the most important monarchs. So I'm assuming here they're going to mean Guggenvawr up in North Wales and Snowdonia. Thank you, Arnie. Diolch yn fawr. In the middle of the 7th century, I like this, dubious discuss. As soon as you put a British thing on this word dubious, I don't see that very often, but anyway, dubious. Now, Onbraust of Ergun, that's the mother of Arthur II, married Mariga Gwent. Now we know he was born about 500. So, it's 100 years out something, that's pretty good for Wikipedia. But there's Onbraust, there's Myrig, and there's Arthur, and he became king of both kingdoms. So hidden away on Ergun, there it is. Ergun eventually became a Cantrev, which is the Welsh equivalent of 100. I thought that was pretty amazing. I didn't expect to see... it's not even done like it's a legend or it's fiction or anything. It just says Arthur became king of both kingdoms. Arthur, son of Myrig and Onbraust. How about that? Didn't expect to see that. That's Arthur II, though. As I'm sure everyone watching this knows, we're talking about two Arthurs. Arthur the First, who we're going to talk mostly about this evening, and Arthur II, who's more, to do with round tables and knights and fighting the Saxons and stuff. More famous one of the two. Oh, there we go. The sites of the old British churches fell to Mercia. There we are, you see. Mercia is when the Vandals arrived. Again, they got their dates out to put their mind. And the British became foreigners, or in English language, Welsh, in what had been their own land. Compared to other areas of South Wales, rather few early place names in the area have survived, for which the early arrival of the English language may be partly responsible. Here we are, Ergun, then became known as Arkenfield, Arkenfelt. Although its Welsh-speaking inhabitants, they carried on speaking Welsh there for a long time later, so they weren't all pushed out, were they? Retained special rights to the areas unequivocally incorporated the English county of Hereford back when the big land grab took place in the 16th century and the good old Tudors, bless them. And the next stage was to illegally annex the... I'll just get a little aside on how they did this, by the way. The way in which the border counties, the four main border counties became part of England from Wales was apparently rich settlers, if you like, knights and people like that, were sent in to settle in these four areas, given land grants, usual deal. And then after a short while, they then petitioned the king and said, "Oh, we'd love to be part of England. Do you think it's possible?" And he went, "Oh, go on then." And it became part of England. So you move people in, get them to request a country change, and then off you go. Nice trick. And then not long after, the West of Wales was annexed illegally, which is why you don't see a dragon on the British flag. Or standard, whatever the term is. Right, another one from Helen. Why is this all squashed over there? And then more about Ergun. I'm running a bit behind, so you can read that yourself there. It's just more confirmation. It's there, and it's mentioned by the history of the kings of Britain, Geoffrey of Monmouth, or Griffith ap Arthur, as we rather call him. Don't forget, tomorrow night, chance to meet. Lawrence is coming down, Devereux, the Druids, coming all the way from North Wales. Hope we get a good crowd out to meet him. I'll be doing the introductions and a bit of a warm-up. Not that he needs any warm-up or introduction. I was going to make sure everyone's sitting down, I suppose, and get Devereux ready. I put a note on here, wrap up warm. It's in a marquee, I've discovered. It's not actually in the building. So it's the railway pub. It's a big old pub. Come out of Llandaff North train station. You can almost see it. It's like 50 yards away. Just head down the hill. You can't really miss it. I'm looking forward to it. It's tomorrow. Today the 9th. Yeah, it is tomorrow. Amazing, it's tomorrow. Right, can we turn this a little bit to me so I can read some comments? Because I can see there's loads of comments flooding in. And I want to dive in. There we are. You got some cold run on there. Look, beautiful design. Luke is the host. Luke is organising it, and he's doing a great job. Actually, I'll come back to comments a bit later. I think let's have a quick look. Am I the only one with a blurred picture? Comes in sharp, then goes blurry. Ooh, I don't know what that is. Any chance you can record that, Ross? Well, I probably will, but I want to keep that quiet because I want everyone to turn up and watch it live. Would be good. The
blurry one just happens on YouTube quite often.
Yeah, I think that's just a YouTuber thing. It's to do with it's how they pass all the data, isn't it?
Yeah, it's when I'm watching videos, sometimes it happens.
Yes. I don't think that's... it's looking clear our end. I'm going to blame YouTube for that one. Yes, it's the railway, Cardiff. Starts, when time does it start? 8 o'clock. I know I'm not the most punctual person. Oh, is it? Yeah, 7 o'clock. Good job I checked. 7 o'clock tomorrow. 7 o'clock, not 8 o'clock, all right? And I promise I will be there before 7. You get a chance to meet a real life druid. I'm part of his same druid order. I tend to keep that quiet. But, it's a free druid order, and I call myself the beardless bard because I don't get the big beard and all that. But with Devereux, you get the full works. People were pretty disappointed they booked me for a wedding. I turn up as a druid. I don't look anything like one, but there you go. Right, another event. This is the one getting together. The tickets are now available. I need to put this... I've been running behind. This is the address you want. If you go to the glamorganug.org events. Jesus in Wales with Ross. I just read that. Yeah, me and Jesus are turning up. Yeah, it's probably a big gig. I'm expecting a good turnout to see Jesus, yeah. So it's Jesus talking about Wales. I think Jesus in Wales. Oh, you know what I mean. It's the connections with the birth of Christianity in this country. But there's going to be more to it than that because we're going to be doing a bit of live music with the boys. And also I'm going to look at if we got enough numbers, and I think we're going to do all right in ticket sales. We've assume we get a decent number because I'm up to see Alan Wilson again. I'm spending 2 weeks with him while Barham has a much-needed break and a holiday. I'll be wading in, get the house done, ready for the winter, all that kind of stuff, and spend some time with the great man, recording interviews with Alan. So I might be broadcasting a show from Newcastle, which will be quite interesting. Maybe Alan will come onto camera or not. Well, we'll see how that goes. Or I'll record something. And if you come to the live show, I'm going to record some video, which will only be shown at this live show to give people a little bit of a bonus for coming. So that's November the 30th. So lots and lots of warning. It's a Wednesday. Starts at 7 p.m. and it's Caerphilly Workman's Hall, right opposite the castle. So I recommend, if you can, come down for the day, visit Caerphilly Castle. No, I don't mean that big, ugly, declare Norman monstrosity in the middle of the town. No, I'll go up the hill to Thornhill. No, go and see the Caerphilly Castle. See the Welsh Castle at the top. If it looks like being quite a few people coming, I am quite prepared, quite happy to organise some a tour or something during the day, or a get together for lunch or something. We'll see how it goes, all right? So I realise some people will be coming quite a long way. But Richard's stall on Friday, I was so impressed. People had come from Bedfordshire, Dorsetshire, Bristol, just to have a chance to meet Richard, say hello to me while they're there perhaps, buy some books. So I know people will make the commitment to come down on Wednesday, and we will make it worth it. It will be a great presentation. We're going to... we actually got some proper singers, hopefully. And this week... Oh, if you're out there, Dan, I need to plug Dan's business because he's a proper professional musician and composer and arranger, a music teacher. And he's stepping in to make it like proper music. My idea is proper music. And I've got a... Oh, sorry I haven't done it this week, Dan. I promise I'll put something up next week to plug his music. You can listen to it online, stream it, all that kind of thing. Really good. Now, oh, by the way, yeah, the hosts for this are Glamorganwg, which is a very clever name because you got Morgan is the old Welsh king. It's named after. So Morganwg is the sort of Welsh and Glamorgan is the English. They did that very cleverly. I like that name. I'm amazed that's never been used before. And you notice it's the Glamorganwg indigenous people. I'm not actually a member, but I am very impressed that they're doing this and getting on and doing it. And they're setting up constitutions and rules and all sorts of things. Here's a quick description. I hope I haven't cut the text off. Glamorgan is a growing community who recognise themselves as indigenous people of the land with inalienable rights. They stand under their own constitution, which is enshrined in natural law, and are working towards international recognition of an indigenous nation. We are individuals and families who mostly live within the old Glamorgan area of South Wales. They passionately believe in freedom and truth without judgment and are all making positive changes, big and small, to make our world a better place. The people enjoy legal protection as beneficiaries of Cymru Community Trust, who intervene when there have been wrongdoings against the rights or assets of the people, both individually or collectively. There is an information event on Saturday, October the 15th in Caerphilly. Today's the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th. That's next Saturday. God, I'm good at this. In Caerphilly. So if anyone is interested in working towards a brighter future for yourself, your loved ones and humanity as a whole, then you can come along to find out more. And hasn't got the location on it. No location, unfortunately. But anyway, contact me or I'll put it up. It's going to be in Caerphilly, so that'll be the Workman's Hall. I think Danielle is online, so check the comments and you'll see Danielle and Lloyd. It's mind-boggling how much work they do. It's just phenomenal. Hundreds of hours of work. And they've got other really clever people in the group. Really nice group of people. I've been along a couple of times as sort of visitor or guest, and I'm really happy to go there and present. It's absolutely brilliant. And a contribution for every ticket sold will go to the Glamorganwg Trust. Tickets are between £5 and £10. Okay, so I hope you can make it to that. Good to have a chance to say hello. Wow, it's not far away. Yeah, it is far away, November 30th. Right, okay. Oh, everything all right? Do I know my cameras? No. Sorry, might be in the car. Not in the boot. I don't know. I had the... Do you have to do this right now in the middle of the show? What's going on? I can't believe it. I got children walking in asking for things. There you go. Thank you. That's just bizarre. What's that about? That better be really important, I tell you. Right, this is a little news thing. This deserves its own video, and I might well do one. If you don't know David Mosley, I always call him David. He's a Welsh boy living in Germany, up in Jutland area. This is... this is a comment about that there. Brilliant Glamorganwg constitutional assemblies popping up all around the world. This is part of the shift where power gets returned back to the people. Yes, Suzanne, well, that's the idea. And they link it up with other small indigenous peoples all around the world. I didn't realise there's this sort of United Nations charter about it. There's it's like an what would you call it? I don't know, a getting together association. Oh, almost forgot. This is supposed to have a card. Thank you very much to Sally Alden for my birthday card. And I'm going to pick up the last one. This is the last card Sally sent me, because I keep them right next to me. This one's Hadrian's Wall. This one's Cumbria. Always gets these absolutely fantastic cards and sent me a gift. So thank you very much indeed. Much appreciated. Right, okay, found it? That's bizarre, isn't it, you know? Right. David's been here in this channel from before the beginning, alright? Friend of Monica. He's been doing this for a long, long time, and he's brilliant. You might remember those who've been with this channel a long time, before COVID, probably 3 years ago. David came over to stay with me, We made videos together. We had his drone out and taking pictures and all that. Anyway, his speciality is very much the Welsh history. It sounds crazy, but it's all the ancient stuff. You know, the Moses and the hieroglyphs and migrations. David really concentrates on this Welsh area. Now this, hopefully you can see from the map, is St. Peter's Church. In ruins, in brackets, even back then. This is the church that Wilson and Blackett bought. Oh, sorry, cut your name off, David. It just says Mosley there. Sorry about that. This is really, really important. It's a strange one because it's called Llan Bad, as in the boat. And this is the important thing here, because what we have is this huge boat-shaped mound. And this is a burial site of ancient British king. So the idea is this church is here. You have the surface. There's a very, very steep hill here, which you can't really see from this picture. And up we go, and here's the burial site. And this whole area, I should put a map of the whole area, is really important. Up the top, you've got Fortress Mountain. This was the castle. It looks like nothing now apart from blinking wind turbines, you know, with electricity factory up there. But historically, this is a great seat in Wales. It's there where a lot of the old kings are buried. It's where they got the monument to the soldiers, which has been taken down since the 90s. It's a scandal. Used to be marked on the Ordnance Survey maps. Again, disappeared. Ever since Wilson and Blackett started producing their books, a lot of the sites have been taken off the maps and stuff. It's almost like they kept in there till someone noticed and, whoa, take that off. Right, anyway, the point of this is to show something, and it's to do with, come on, mouse, where are you? This, okay? Right, so this is an Ordnance Survey 25-inch map from 1892, last used in 1914. You see this enclosure? So the trackway, this is still there, it's an ancient trackway. Clearly respects, good use of the word, David, respects this mound, right? It's an important mound. One of the most important sites in the whole of Britain. Oh, this, by the way, this is the site where they met for the peace conference, where the Saxons did the stabbing. It's the monument to the fallen soldiers. It's worth a walk up there. You've got the road of the soldiers, where they do the parades. Round here, there's like what I call the preacher's stone. It's probably been called that before. I'm not trying to claim anything, but you can stand on the hill. It sticks out. It's a perfect place for preaching. It's a wonderful. And there's loads of videos on it in the channel. Just go in the search, look at St. Peter's. Right. Anyway, the trackway clearly respects the enclosure of the boat-shaped mound. St. Peter's is enclosed, still surrounded by trees, and the graveyard. The trees are absolutely crucial. And you can also see on here, clearly, this is the outline. So I'm pretty certain that this is the area owned by Wilson and Blackett. It will be within this mark. That's theirs. Unfortunately, this church is getting wrecked, right? It's being ripped to pieces. Well, comments are flying up. Bricks and that stones are still going missing. Thank you to Alan Rees, who's the first person to donate a security camera, which is motion sensitive. I'm going to be hiding that up there and trying to catch who's doing it. The fence that Wilson and Blackett put up to protect the property when they bought it, they've also excavated it. I'm going to do a whole video about the excavation. It's only been touched on. It goes all the way back to 1st century. It's been rebuilt 7 times. It's historically, Alan calls it the Westminster Abbey of South Wales. That's how important it is. The trees are important because they gave wind protection. It's very windy up here. That's where the wind farm's up here. So we need to replant these trees. When they put the fence up, the farmer took the fence down. It was absolutely outrageous, flagrant breach of the law. And the police were called, everyone's involved, and he was basically like, yeah, what are you going to do about it? So this is what we're up against. And the church gets quarried, the stones get taken to be used for anything, paths, lintels, whatever you need. He doesn't want people going up there, he doesn't like the thing. It's not just the farmer though, and I think that was the old farmer who might have passed on since then, so I don't want to cause trouble. I'm hoping a good relationship. But this land is owned, and effectively, somehow or other, I seem to have ended up as sort of steward or guardian. I wouldn't call myself owner. And I'd like to try and protect this more, put the trees in. We've got volunteers going up there. Anyway, so what the point of this is, 1892, this is the boat-shaped mound, which is also equally as important. The path goes round it. Right, the OS map from 1937 survey review. This is used up until 1961. Right, I've got to use my wits about me a bit now. There's the church. Gosh, a bit more difficult to see on this one. Right, okay, I know where it is. You wouldn't work it out from the map, I don't think. Boat-shaped mound is here, and you can see the kink in the path, right? So it goes round the boat-shaped mound. So the trackway still skirts the enclosure of the boat-shaped mound. St. Peter has lost its accurate shape. Yeah, the perimeter's gone. There's a bit of a perimeter, maybe. The tree's gone, graveyard, all that. It's just been taken off the map. It's been airbrushed out of history. This is how it's done, right? You can see it happening on these maps. Oh yeah, what I was going to say as well, it's called Llanbad. I never understand why Alan Wilson is making more fuss about this, because Llanbad, as he points out, and Llanbad Fawr, or Llanbad Mawr, means the church of the big boat, which is a reference to the big giant, which you can see it better on this one, this giant boat-shaped mound, which hopefully you've seen pictures of. The bad is boat, Mawr or Fawr is large, but so I don't think it might not have anything to do with. One story is that Peter came here as well, which ties in the foundation of Christianity, okay? But I got a sticky feeling that Badr, which means the big boat, people have taken it as a mutation of Padar, which can be a translation of Peter, and that's what became Peter's Church. And it shouldn't even be called St. Peter's Church, I think. Alan knows better than me, but I think that should actually be called the Church of the Giant Boat, which is this. Maybe get better protection. I don't know. Anyway, unfortunately, this is now... it's a recent drone foot shot. I think David took this one when we were up there last time. Was that again last year? I think he was. A recent drone view of the area of the boat-shaped mound. The original course of the trackway is still visible. There's the original trackway. So you used to do that. Remember on the previous ones, the kinks. See the kink? See the kink? Now, there's the kink. Church is down there, look. Isn't it beautiful? What a great shot, David. It's absolutely tremendous. It's my favourite one. You can see this steep slope I was talking about. And there's the preacher's stone. That's really steep. It's fantastic. And the views, it's all across the Severn. It's beautiful. So the original course of the trackway is still visible. The area of the mound has lost its enclosing wall or hedge. This used to be, yes, ringed off. That's gone. And the recently modified route cuts across the mound. Isn't it shocking, isn't it? Because the crucial... It's not even that easy to make out. You can see this kind of... We got this area, and then you got the larger area. And with Graham, Graham King. I'll tell you more about him soon. And with people dousing. And it does tie in with the idea of... It's probably easier on this one. If that's your boat, the idea is the helmsman's position. In the old boats, the person steering, before they had a built-in rudder in the keel, someone would stand at the back of the boat with a great big oar to steer the boat, all right? So this bit... Come on, mouse, where are you? This bit is the helmsman's position. So this is where we'd expect... Around about there somewhere, expect to find the grave. I didn't tell any of the Douses or Graham or any of these people anything about that, but still they managed to nail it. Because if you come up the path here, you'd expect the grave to be over there, and then Graham points over here, which is correct. So the grave is almost, could even be under this path, isn't it? It's just, I don't know what do people think. It's just heartbreaking, isn't it? How can this happen? How can you be allowed to get away with that? It's just, and this happened recently. And I got a feeling they're going to plough through that mound, because you can hardly see it's a mound now. I mean, I know maybe on this picture it doesn't even look that impressive as a mound, because it's become so low and so ploughed out. But when you're there, you can see especially at different times of the year, I think that's the mound. God, I can't even tell now. And it's shocking how it's degrading. Because it's all kind of swampy and reedy, which ties in with the water and the burial rites and all that kind of thing. So, what can we do? LiDAR drones are available. I think that's what you meant, Sniper. Rather than LiDAR drones. Robert Langdon's site is selling LiDAR maps for any area in the UK. Yeah, we've done the LiDAR and everything on this. Can't remember any gaps. Anyway, I will do another video on this soon, right? Bring it back up to date. But thank you for the tips. Yeah, keep sharing the information. Close to Arthurstone, where Arthur 1 is buried. Yes, we're going to be looking at Arthurstone. That's Marshall. Yeah, Lichfield. It was discussed. Don't worry about the rest of the video. If you haven't got time to watch the rest of the video, just go to the live chat replay and it'll tell you all about it. Save me a job. Oh, RDB. A half-time musical interlude. He's just disappeared. Like my little caricature of Arnie. I say, well, always caricatures of people, not one of Arnie. Alright, I have a little chance here to read some comments. Well, Arnie's disappeared. Has he deliberately gone through that? Yeah, I think so. I think it's fairly deliberate as well. Hang on a second, let's scroll back on the comments. Oh, here comes boy. He's on Arnie's in the loo. Thank you, Leon, for broadcasting that to the world. Right, let's read some comments then, alright. As Ross says, our English constitution is denied and censored. I didn't say that. By MSM, YouTube, etc. We went on Rumble, Locals, etc. Yeah, I know, it's difficult, isn't it? Start by checking out videos on Tartaria. I will say something about Tartaria because I mean, most of that originates, and obviously I've been on Martin Leaker's show. He's been the one who's promoted that for a long, long time. People have copied him and everything. Hello, Martin, if you're out there, I haven't seen you for a while. I'll have to have a catch up. Is that the theory goes back to Fomenko, and like all the Fomenko books here. I really find it fascinating, especially the way they take apart the conventional chronology and history and show the flaws. And their methods, I mean, teams of Soviet mathematicians and scientists trying to do the same sort of work that Alan Wilson did. I mean, Barron worked with him, but on this sort of real genius stuff. He was the genius who worked that out, you know, and it's remarkable, like the idea of the two dynasties of where the situation whereby when Hadrian had no heirs and he came over to make his agreement at Cardiff, and from then on the so-called Roman Empire was run by British kings from Britain, working out the parallels and the comparisons. It's very much the same methods of both. Anyway, I'm going to read a few comments. Since I've got this unexpected, unscheduled, never work with animals or children, eh? Right, this one, let's go a bit further back. Hang on a second. Time to make a cup of tea. Slight interlude. Right, wild game camera. Oh, here we are, cameras. Yes. Due to send MMS pictures on phone signals for another number and can be hidden easily. Yes, Mr. PH30, that sounds exactly what we want. Alan's giving me one camera along those lines. The problem is keeping the batteries and the SIM cards going. I did speak to Richard Hall about this as well. Yeah, someone can email me, ross@cameraglyphics.com, with some information on how we can get like a permanent setup up there. There's very few places to hide up there. There's no trees or bushes or anything. I'm not going to discuss my ideas, obviously. I might to calibrate the Wi-Fi or my dowsing rods. Always use your dowsing rods, Marshall. Always use your dowsing rods. Right, I'm in Vancouver and follow Kevin Annett. But I've heard Wales and England are making great strides in sovereignty. Must all reclaim our personal sovereignty as well. Yep. Right, need a fund drive for a new fence, etc. Well, I agree with you. We do now think need to raise up for a new fence. The problem is, well, how are we going to stop the farmer just knocking the thing down? This is, I mean, it's outrageous. I mean, that path is outrageous. You can still see the ancient path. And thank you for David for putting those pictures together. And like the long lives, I had a few parties like that myself. Jan Iverson. Right, I'm going to have to carry on a minute, Arnie. Where's he gone? Onto the loo? Oh, my goodness. I've never been to Wales. The closest I've been is to Leominster. Call yourself British Freedom Force and you haven't been to Wales? Come on, get yourself down here, Ron. Brad. Hello, Brad. Here we go. Brad Bart. Oh, hang on, I've lost it. Badr is Arabic in full moon. You are aware. Giant boats for giant sailors. Yeah, I never thought of the giants there. Wow, great shot. What else we got here? We had a Saint Padar near Aberystwyth too. Unless he was also a mutation. I think you mean the name rather than the person being a mutant. But of course there is a possibility of Peter coming here. In the same way as you got St. Paul's Cathedral in London. Did Paul come to London and come to Britain? It's another thing we've been discussing lately. David Powers, not a myth, my friend. Look at what Tesla produced for free. Yeah, there's plenty of energy out there. Vandals and Vikings are the same people. Well, if you don't ever watch that, that's Nicholas. Thank you, Nicholas. I'm not sure they can be Vikings as well, but there we go. Right, as I said, here in Lichfield, we have 3 ancient British Christian kings buried here. I think you find you got more than that. You might be surprised. They died in the Diocletian persecutions in the 290s, around 299-300. Borrow Cop Gazebo is the burial mound. Matt, if you're from Lichfield and here are all the burial mounds you think you got, you're going to love this. Alright, I think we lost Arnie. He's drowned himself there. There's a circular ring to the left of the track as well. I don't know if you're referring to this here. There's the church. Do you mean on this picture? I'm not sure about that one. Is there a LiDAR of the area? We need to get that. Wall is about a mile from Lichfield. Yeah, Wall comes into it. It's all coming up on tonight. Was Wall even Roman? I doubt it. Right, okay. Let's see more comments. We get all the best parts. Yeah, LiDAR, not liar. Yeah. The Roman Empire is run by kings from England. Well, technically from Wales, but I know what you mean. The English hadn't arrived at that point. Right, hey, yeah, he's back. You alright?
Yeah.
You okay?
Yes.
Right, okay, alright, I'll just introduce, right, quick break before we start the second half of the show. Wow, look at that, spot on the timing and everything. Now, I was going to explain the musical, what I wrote, I think as Ernie used to say, on Eric and Ernie, was Eric Morecambe, Eric, that's right, not Ernie, Eric. It's the musicals, right, it's based very much on a big chunk of Arthur the War King. Great book if you haven't read. Oh, by the way, talking about the books, they are selling out. I'm hoping I can get more, because there's still some in storage at Newcastle. I go to the storage area and get them. Not all of them are in great shape. I don't know how many are going to be usable or saleable. Might have to sell slightly, damaged and stuff like that. But so if you see out of stock on the website, as you will see in the next week or two, judging by the way sales are going, which is fantastic, then you'll have to wait a month, and you might have to reprint, like Arturus Rex discovered. I'd love to reprint that, because that book is just brilliant. And if you get bogged down in the front of that book, jump to the second half where you see all about Arthur and all that kind of thing. The first half's heavy going, go straight to the second half, which is great. So in this play, what's happened? As you're probably aware, you've got old Tudrig. He's died fighting off the Saxons at the crossing, where it gets Mathen, which is named after him, and his well and all that kind of thing. That's historically accepted. Meirig was his son. Meirig had a problem with Cludaug, who was making a claim going to cause problems. We'll go through all now. And he got injured fighting Cludaug, murdering him perhaps. That's how Alden Wilson sees it. And Arthur, who's been educated, playing with his friends, becoming lifelong friends with Gulgan and the other people who become famous as Knights of the Round Table, who've seen the stories. Suddenly, Meirig can't fight anymore, he's become crippled. It's what they used to do in those days. This is why there's a confusion over Arthur II becoming king, because you have Meirig still king, still going. He's doing all the admin and all the boring jobs and dealing with the disputes and that kind of stuff. And Arthur is going to be in charge of the armies. He's just discovered it in the musical now. He's just discovered it. He's only 14, about to become 15. Same age as Arnie, to give you an idea. Arnie's just turned 14. And so this is his song. So this is going to be sung by a 15-year-old boy who can actually sing, all right? Not by me, who's going to give it a go. So there we are. Chance to take your dogs out, have a cup of tea. You ready, on? You going to give me an introduction? Come a bit nearer to the microphone so we can hear your violin, because your violin's very nice. And me singing, you might not hear it. Who will follow a boy, even the son of a king? Yesterday my sword was just a toy. I didn't worry about a thing. War was just a game. My life will never be the same. Into this world I have been thrust. Who can I trust? Who will follow a boy? I must become a man. We can cannot be destroyed. I must do everything I can. War was just a game, my life will never be the same. To this world I have been thrust, who can I trust? Who will follow a boy? How will they understand? Together is our only ploy, and united we must stand. So one more chorus. War was just a game, my life will never be the same. To this world I have been thrust, who can I trust? There you go. Oh, I can hear the thunderous applause all around the world from Vancouver. Thank you, Arnie. Oh, for you. Oh, they're probably you. You just bowed off the camera. You're going to bow do it on the camera next time, right? Oh, no, you got some bows. There you go. Right, there you go. Bit of fun and games. So hopefully, you know, the proper musical arrangements, proper musicians, proper singer and everything. And we're going to try on November the 30th, because it's a nice venue with the stage and everything, to do a little preview of the show. So there goes your halftime stretch. Right, here we go. On to the main event of the evening. I always wanted to do that job. If there's one job in life I'd love to have had a go at, it'd be introducing the boxers. I'd love to do that. Weighing in the red corner, yeah, all that kind of stuff. Right, so Arthur I, grave and capital of ancient Britain. And as, oh, hang on a second. I actually have some notes on this one. Chapter, where are you? Someone's changed my page. That's not fair. I know where it is though. Yep, here we go, because I've got loads of notes. I don't want to miss anything out. Right. Lichfield and the burial mounds is absolutely crucial. And what our friend Marty there might not be aware of is how much of the area you can still see the ancient Welsh names. This is the key thing here. And the basis of all this, which I think Wilson and Blackett friends will be aware of, other people might not be, is this myth that Glastonbury is the original Glastonbury. This is the massive, it's not even a mistake, it's a well-known forgery. It's a very, talk about revisionist history. This one goes back to like the 1200s when this history got revived. But it's been busted as a fraud for 900 years and still gets perpetuated, okay? So there we go. Look at this fantastic map. And I'll give you an idea here, because what I get is, I want to show you the original of this. This is the kind of thing you get when they make their notes and they make their things. It's bits of paper stuck together and... Hang on. This is the same... Oh God, the sellotape's been on there 30, 40 years. It's a bit like sacred documents. So what I do is work through here. And what's on the screen, well, will be on the screen in a second, is the same, all right? I've just redrawn it. I mean, you can't work with bits like this. They're just fragile, falling apart. I feel like old Griffith ap Arthur, you know, trying to work out those old manuscripts. And they're all jumbled up and falling apart and in the right old state. But I treasure every page. I just need to get everything digitized. So I've redrawn this. So the road's a little bit wobbly and stuff like that. I think it looks pretty good. And what we're going to do is go through a lot of the places in this area. Okay? And I've also got some new stuff from Wilson and Blackett on this. A little bit tonight, but not really. Because I want to do that as sort of updates. It's just the same sort of information, okay? But I want to put it all together in one little book about Arthur I. So I won't read it exactly as it is. It's like, it's not much different though. Right, so what we have, Arthur's Tween. If we have time at the end, like, oh gosh, no, I have to do a separate video, because it's quite a long piece to read. So these are places all around this area. This is all to do with the Glastonbury. We're going to be coming back to this map, so don't panic when I come off it. I guess the key to it all here is because the old record of this, off the top of my head, It's William and Malmesbury who wrote this one. It was a Gildas. Oh my goodness, I should know my quotes. Anyway, the point is that the early references, the neglect of the famous King Arthur of the British in the cemetery of the monks in the midst of 2 pyramids, so this is the focus, with his wife's tumulus besides, multitudes of the best nobles of the British. This is the ancient burial area. Absolutely crucially important area. I'll show you where it is on the bigger map in a second. We'll have a little wander around the area. You get to find out about it. And what you'll also see is these place names, which appear to be just weird English, all translate into Welsh. One I want to pop out, I'll go through some of these translations in a minute. I just want to jump out and show a couple of things. One is this one jumps out. This is the Gwytherin Strata, which is the road, the monarch of the Mend. Gwytherin becomes Gwathling, the Welsh, it becomes Gwathling. Gwathling became Watling. That's how you get Watling Street. Especially if you remember in Welsh, you might take the G. So Watling Street is actually Wathling Street, or Strata to use the Latin, or it'd be like in Welsh, it'd probably be Hale Wathling or something like that. But it's Wathling, not Watling. It's way before the Romans, hundreds of years. All this ideas, everything's Roman, is just absolutely ridiculous. And he goes on and on and on. And yeah, and thank you to Marshall and the other person who pointed out the video I did earlier in the week. The article I got sent through by Tog, which I thought was a new one, was actually 6 years old. But that actually makes it more interesting, because I'm going back and seeing what's happened over the last 6 years. Anyway, if you haven't watched the video, you won't know what I'm on about. It's talking about the BBC catching up, which apparently they haven't. Right, so you look at all these names. You'll find all these on the map, which I'll show you in a minute. But I just want to get into your head, the sort of places. Hinckley. The first one is Llys. Llys is a very useful Welsh word, means court. So you see lots of places around the country with a Lee on the end. So this is Hynaf Llys, ancient court, becomes Hinckley. There's more Lees around here somewhere. Anley, without the court. Arley, the ploughland of the court. So if you live in that area or you've been through it, you think, why is all these Lees everywhere? They got Wytresol is carousing. So you got the Wither, the carousing court. I'd love to know what goes on there, because I don't think it's like a law court. I'm not quite sure exactly what they were, these things. Where's the main one? The main court. Where's the main court? Interesting one down there. Lots of different courts and things like that. Anyway, okay. Arley I was looking for. Oh, Arley, that's the one. Ploughland of the court. Arley and Llys. We've got Watling Street, very interesting. It shows you this. The reason I want to show the road as well is because it's the crucial junction. This is like the Fossway, a bit further down. I'm not sure if that's the Fossway, but it's near the Fossway. And where Gwathling Street, as we should start calling it, meet. Because this is the ancient place of the kings. And you got places up there, Thorpe Constantine, you might notice that, which is Torf Constantine, place of killing Constantine. Seckington, you think, oh, what does Seckington mean? Maybe someone's name. Comes from Sachnant, which is a dry place. And it's where Constantine's grave. So when our friend Marty says we've got 3 graves, you get a lot more than that. A lot more. So all these mounds are grave mounds. And as usual, and same as in Wales, a lot of them come right next to the church, or very near to the church. Some of them right next door. I've got Heenley, which is Mound of the Red-Haired Man, which you think is probably Ryden, which is the grandfather of Arthur I. Possibly great-grandfather. It depends if Arthur is the son of Maxen or his son Victor, Uther. I tend to go with him being the grandson. It doesn't change the biggest things. Newton. Oh yeah, Ton, to mention it. Ton means mound or hill. The king, Regis. Appleby. Now, Appleby seems to have been a corruption. Let's go on to some of the translations now anyway. This is a fascinating area. So the slides are a bit jumbled, but we'll do our best. Hang on, let's see some feedback on the comments here. Wonder where my village Walsby in Nottinghamshire originates from. Yes, well, been thinking about that, Graham. And it could be very ancient, yeah, because the bird bee, isn't it? Yeah, because Wallace is ancient, as you'll see in a second. So Tim's been up there quite a lot. Tim knows the area, and his partner's actually from there. A remarkable coincidence. So Tim sent me a couple of pictures. Thank you very much. I need to put more up. He did send me more I'm going to show. We're going to do another video. There's a couple of other subjects which has sprung out from research here that Tim's doing a lot of. Can't give too much of that away, unfortunately, just yet. So stay tuned. It will be up soon. And in case you're thinking, oh, I wish I'd known about this in the summer, I could have gone up there. Best time to go up is November. If you don't mind the weather and the shortened days, because then all the undergrowth grows back and you can see a lot more. So no, it is a good time to go. Another problem with these evergreen trees is the other thing is the leaves drop and you can see through. So there's one, a place Badus Lienzo. So this one's, oh god, why give myself the challenge of trying to find that? It's oh yeah, phew. Slippery bathing place. Now what's that about? Slippery bathing of the court. Not quite sure what that's about. I'd like to ask Arthur if you, Alan, if you've got any ideas. And here we are, it's Arthur's stone. Now I think again, something to point out. Look at this Roman occupation. Wow, they've gone for the full, right up to 407 from 43. So they've landed in the south coast and instantly captured the whole of England. Wow, that's impressive, man. Didn't have any tanks or air cover or anything. Blokes in sandals have managed to conquer hundreds and hundreds of miles of territory. I mean, it's ridiculous, isn't it, when you think about it? There we go, that's what we're up against. Ross, have you the map for us? Oh, Guna Mum, thank you, Guna. Utu be a Guna, yeah, don't mention the football. The Blame My Map, Ross. Yeah, I'll make that as available as a download, alright? So you can have that. I've got to put £1 towards the committee. You make a donation, right? I'll put it up free, but ask for a donation if you could, please. Okay, so this is the... And I'll be showing there's another picture by Tim. Absolutely fantastic. This gives an idea of the area we're talking about. Ow, just bit my tongue somehow. There's a place you should go to. I'm not going to say too much about it now because it takes us into another area of history and I've got to stop wandering off so much. But what is interesting, or what jumps out to me anyway, is this. That is the pennant or standard or flag, or whatever you want to call it, of Henry VII, who drew on the Welsh dragon. And you notice this is the ancient coat of arms here. Very important because although it's become synonymous with England and Saxons on the rugby jerseys and all that kind of thing, it seems to be... Oh, hang on, you can't see. Oh, I see what you mean. Well, where's the map? Oh, idiot, Ross. Seriously, could you not see any of that then? Oh, jeez, just shoot me. Where's my producer gone? I lost my producer. That's what's happened. He's wandered off. Don't blame other people. All right, okay. There you are. Roman occupation. Sorry about that. There's your... This must have landed in 43 on the south coast and already they've taken the northwest. Right to 407. You know what, that's nonsense, but there you go. There are another beautiful view from Tim's photography. He's a tremendous photographer. He's done it for a long, long time. Got some great kit. And we're going to be going up there and doing a full film. Oh, did I not tell you that, Tim? Yeah, we are. I have to stay overnight. No, I didn't say we stay with sisters. Oh, you saw your partners. So Merritt Vale's worth interesting. This will make a lot more sense now. You can see there's Henry Tudor's banner there. When I used to paint toy soldiers, I've done a few of these. Beautiful. So you see in the Welsh dragon, you can tell by the kink in the tail, pointy tongue, and legs. Most dragons don't have legs. Right, this red cross on the white background. What we're saying there is synonymous with England rugby now on the shirts. Far more ancient. If you look back, it's interesting they've got this here. Because that symbol goes back to Joseph of Arimathea, according to British history records. If you know the story there, in return for the 12 hides of land, I'm just going to show you what that means in a second, they got the arms. He gave, as a thank you, he gave the arms to wear. So Arthur, surprisingly, is said to have worn this into battle at Baden, not the dragon. The dragon was on his head. The idea that they didn't come along to medieval times, nonsense. The ancient Britons used to put animals on their heads and all sorts of bright stuff. You need to see who's who on a battlefield. And you want to show off a bit, and that's what you did. But this would have been his, probably on his shield as well, which seems a bit strange. A Welsh king fighting the English, or the Saxons I should say, most English aren't Saxons, would have had this as his armour, given by Joseph Arimathea. You read all about this is where Jesus was buried, it's all in there, and various other places, quite well known. So it's curious that Joseph Arimathea badge should be here. It's all tied in. Right, let's get to the crux of this here. I'm not going to attempt the Latin. Yeah, why not? Hic est ille glasting, qui Mediterraneos Angles secus villam. I can't do it. Que dicitor esceptione sucram suam musca duellis, et avelis periviam et esquam quo seguej, it escoffi via dicta. I don't even need to translate that. You're such a well-educated and informed audience. I'll just leave it up there in Latin. And I'll bring you a bit of help. Right, so we've got the major road passing Glastenig, or Glasteng, as the old Latin, or how was it spelt in those days. Same places you'll see. And you can, so you saw the major road coming through. It mentions here, look, Mediterraneos angles. This is the Mercians. They're talking about Africans coming through. Yeah, angles, yeah, it's Africans. Anyway, Wellis. This I mentioned about your place because Graham lives in Wellesby, or Walesby as it's now spelt. So that could be a very ancient town, and they'd probably have Welsh people there. The whole story of William Wallace, you know, Braveheart and all that. Called Wallace because of his Welsh ancestry. His claim to the throne of Scotland, he wasn't some poor peasant. They never are. They always come from somewhere. He was the grandson of Llywelyn ap Fawr, Llywelyn the Great. So, which is the claim that the Scottish kings use, including the Stuarts. Don't digress, Ross. Stick to the point. So the Mercians, the ones who changed Glasting to Glastonbury, which is very close to Glastonbury, by the way. Right, so we look at this is. Let's not have a go at Glastonbury. I mean, it's spectacular. It's beautiful. One of the reasons it's so spectacular and beautiful is all the money they raised from running scams for hundreds of years. In the 12th century, there's Monks of Poverty, and this is really gone into beautifully in the new essay by Alan Wilson, which I'll put up as a separate video, I think, because it's really good. Very powerful, biting stuff, you know how he writes. And they went from poverty, the roof burnt down. They waited then until Henry II died, and then someone said, oh, old Henry II, he knew things. Someone had told him he knows where Arthur was buried. And he told me, some monk told Henry II before he died that he's buried in our church. Amazing, imagine that. And not only that, so was Joseph of Arimathea. Who else can we put in there? They put Guinevere in there. The list of relics and saints all buried at Glastonbury was just ridiculous. It was a fundraising scam. They needed the money. It went so well, they kept it going. And as Alan points out, another point, why is it this is 1100 odd or 1200 odd? Only now they mention they got Arthur's grave. And I think that's it there, actually. I'll show a picture in a second. Look at the size of this area, though. That's what you look at, okay? Because then we're going to talk about hides of land and how big they are compared to how big this is. It's some fantastic pictures. 1900. Unrestored interior of the chapel. Wow, beautiful, isn't it? Stunning. But the area is not that big, and it doesn't have trees. Which is really important. Let's talk about the word Avalach, the granted lands. We come to that. So this is King Arthur's tomb, apparently. So all over Britain, right? All over Britain. We're going to see some more up in... we're going to talk about them anyway. More in this area up in Lichfield. Massive burial mounds, right? Massive burial mounds. Same in South Wales. You've got like all these kings have all got their own burial mounds. They're all huge. Twyn Tudor, Twyn Owain. That's how they buried the kings in those days. Sometimes they might put them in the church, but that was later, much later. In the era of Arthur, he would have a burial mound somewhere. He would not have this crappy little grave plot. It's just not how they did it. What's even more bizarre, if you read this, right? In the year 1191, the bodies of Arthur and his queen were said to have been found on the south side of the Lady Chapel. On 19th of April 1278, the remains were removed in the presence of King Edward I and Queen Eleanor, behind massive 12-foot screens so no one could see anything, to a black marble tomb on the site. This tomb survived until the dissolution in 1539. Now, the other weird thing there is if you look at this, or the eyewitness reports of the time, the reporters, one describes the two bodies, because you had to have people write about it, because you couldn't see. There were the screens round there, unless you had a special invite. One described him in a stone coffin, which is more likely to be correct for that period. The other one said the bodies were in a hollowed out log. So, I mean, it's this ridiculous story doesn't add up. And the killer things Alan points out is, why are they buried in the same coffin? And they both die simultaneously or something? There's no evidence for that. It's just ridiculous, okay? This is the story we're told to believe. Some more nice pictures. Thank you, Angie, for finding those. Right, so where we get to is there first a lot of text, I'm afraid. We can go through some words, all right? So Glastennig, not Glastonbury. It was never Glastonbury. It was Glastennig. But the trouble was, these things are in the wrong place, and it's the wrong Arthur. Arthur at Myrig, we saw earlier mention, he's buried in South Wales. He's famous for fighting against the Saxons. He's not in England. That's not where he is, okay? We know where he's buried. It's the wrong Arthur, and it's the wrong place. But this fits. It's where they want it to be. It makes money for the church. Everyone's happy, okay? So this area called Avalonia, Avalon, which comes from Avalach. If you look, Avalach, double L, all right? I want to make a note there. People say this is to do with apples. Aval is apple. It is. But it's not Aval. Look. It's Avalach. Avalach. Alan Wilson works it out. It's the land given up for another use, which makes perfect sense. It's a land grant. This used to happen in those days. You give the land to the church for, what's the word to use? In perpetuity, forever. They haven't got to pay any taxes. It's their land to do it as they will. So this is why there's a few Avalachs about the place, because there's lots of land grants. There's not just one. And the other problem is there's no record of one for this one. The only land grant we know about is this one here by King Ina of the Gwisi. But that's being worked out as a fake. Even at the time, bishops were saying this is a fake. So that would have been that area. Whereas there is a land grant well recorded by the pre-Mercian king Ivor. So we're up in that Warwickshire area, right, where the Mercians, the Vandals, ended up. And that grant does fit what we're looking for. Now, this is just a little bit of maths here, okay? And I want to thank Adrian Gilbert here. He does this in Holy Kingdom, which is a very good book. Does some maths to work it out. So credit where it's due. Hope you know all the reference in the old records. They talk about, just to give a little bit of background, this is the original George, not the Hungarian guy we see depicted. Not him. He's another George. Comes much later, whatever. He seems to be used to overwrite and hide the original George, whose name is Gwairedd. Good Welsh, Gwairedd. Sounds like George, right? It's probably a translation of Gwairedd. Also known as Arveragus, as in the war leader. It's more of a title. Gwairedd the Arveragus. And he was the one who gave the 12 hides of land, an area of land for Joseph to settle in. And this is, in return, he got the Red Cross. So if we look at that now, an acre, this is old measurements now. A Starmount Blapping Bicycle Tour. Oh, gosh. Original Finky's back, no relation. Yeah, thank you, Finky. Good to see you back. Right, just trying to catch up some of the comments. Wow, there's so many comments tonight, it's going to be hard to go back to them. Anyway, an acre is the area ploughed by an ox in a day. So that's about 4,840 square yards. I think, in fact, that is the number they used in the end, because you couldn't just keep dragging oxen around all the time. So a hide is 160 acres. It's a big area. Works out at least 2 3/4 square miles. If you remember, that little area in Glastonbury is nowhere near big enough. It's just not big enough, right? Actually, it's more than that. You only get 12. Yeah, 12 times 160 acres. Well, I thought it'd be even more than that. Anyway, it's a much bigger area than what we've shown in Glastonbury. It does not fit the story at all. And, of course, we all know about the things that have gone on there. And it's just bizarre, because it's been known for about 800 years that it's not Glastonbury. And still it gets perpetuated. This, to me, is the weirdest of all of them, okay? Weirdest of all the stories. Right, now what we're going to do now is talk more now about these, our heroes there. They're up on the... Oh, hang on a second. I missed a huge chunk out now. So we've got the... I put all the pictures across. I know what's happened there. All right, I'll sit back now, do a little bit of reading, okay? So I want to talk more about the idea of Lichfield. So let's just sit back and let's go back to the map. Boom, 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 boom. Right, okay, let's get that back up there. Right, so what we're really looking at is the Lichfield area, okay? Oh, no, I remember what it was now. Yep, sorry. Sorry, folks. Let's get my head on. I've got them. Where are you? 1 second. Got the Google Earth thing is what we want to do. All right, okay. First of all, so do the walk around the maps. Here we go. So here's Arthur's Stone in Warwickshire. Oh yeah, I was going to say, it probably, rather than refers to the stone, it's Arthur's ton, as in the mound. Arthur's mound, all right? Arthur's mound. Now you start looking at the areas, you'll start to see there's some stuff about Arthur's Stone. Well worth a visit, looks really nice, is Manchetta, which is a translation of this. Only, of course, everything gets called Roman, all right? There's one of the places, Baddesley. See the remember the one with the bath? There's the court. There's the bath, the slippery place, which is a bit weird. I'll have to get to the bottom of that one. Okay, and what you want to see where the Arthur's buried, don't you? Yes, we do, Rod. Okay, now if we just scan out a bit here. Okay, this is the area I want to do is Baddesley, so we're in Warwickshire, okay? There's Oldbury. Oldbury, this is what we're looking for. Oldbury, the Oldbury place. Oldbury Farm. Harts Hill. Tumulus in there, okay? This is where we're looking. Now, one thing I will say to you is on Adrian Gilbert's book, he makes a mistake there because he just puts Harts Hill Country Park, or Harts Hill, what's it called? Wildlife Park, which will take you somewhere completely different, as you see. All right, now I'm going to jump to Google Earth a second. Is this Google Earth? Yeah, here it is. Oh, exit ground level. Come on, Ross, out you come. Jumping ahead a bit here. All right. This doesn't make you feel too dizzy. Right, there's a preparation here. I want to give you some idea. There we go. Right, the other thing... Hang on, where's Wales gone? What's happened? It's become an island. Hey? Oh! Please give us north back. What's going on here? Oh, weird, isn't it, when Britain's the wrong way up? How strange it all looks. Come on. Oh, phew. I was like really worried for a moment then. What's happened there? Okay, now the other part of the story, which I'm going too much about, is the connection between this and a place called Llangollen. Sorry, there we are, for people who know Britain. There you go. So everything's in this area, right slap bang in the middle of Britain, all right? You can't get much more central than this. It's right in the middle. So I've marked the key spots on there. I've just put Syfe, because this is more or less where I am. That's the star sign. See, Glastonbury Tour is nowhere near all the action is, because one of the key characters in all this is Cotlan, St. Cotlan, and he talks about his regular journeys going back and forth, which makes sense there. It makes no sense at all. He's going to pop across all the way down to there, hundreds of miles away. And not an easy journey either. All right, so what we look at here. Yeah, the first warning, if you've got Holy Kingdom, Hartshill Nature Reserves up there. Unfortunate clash of names. This one, thank you, Tim. Tim Lewis. So he knows the area really well. I want to double check. Hartshill Hayes Country Park, all right? So there's Tamworth, Lichfield, Glascote, Oldbury Road, which runs all the way across here. So all the names are there. This is the old burial site. This is where the old kings are buried. There's Merivale, there's Arthurstone, and then right next to it, we've got Hartshill Hayes Country Park. And I have guided various people there, although I still need to go myself. It's a confession, isn't it? I have to wipe that bit off the tape, so I can't agree with that. People know I haven't actually been there. What battle was Lichfield Hall from? I don't know that one. Drovers Roads, Ross. Yeah, I'm sure. Thank you very much for that, original thinking. Yeah, very ancient roads. Way, way, way before there. And it's quite good fun to do this. This is what I'm saying. Anywhere in the world you can do this, all right? You can see the names. Hartshill Hayes Country Park. Have a zoom in. Have a look. Have a look around. It's such a shame they do it with all the trees. I know it looks pretty, but I wish they'd do a picture without the trees, because there are lots of mounds in here. And lots of them are burial mounds. One thing I would like to say, though, if you look at the ancient descriptions, like Lichfield, the name, lich, you can see the old Welsh word coming through into English, like lichen. And what Lichfield means in Welsh is grey or hoary. So you've got a wood there where maybe there's a predominance of, well, grey lichen or something like that made the trees look grey. Now, I'm going to go back to Somerset levels in a second. So let's zoom in here. Here's the burial place. Come on, click, click. Can you zoom me in? No, I can zoom me out. No. I want to go in. Oh, I love Google Earth. Otherwise called Pro. It's still free. You can download it. Come on, in we go. So you come into the park. Here we go. Isn't it marvellous? Right, we're into ground level view. And I was trying to do this earlier, which is why you saw it is. Now, curiously, hang on, up. There's a mound right there, look, as you come in, but I don't think that's it. What you have to try and do, right, here we go, as you come in. Now, what's curious on here, right, sorry about that, jumping around, hope not making people feel a bit seasick. Oh, this is why the map was the wrong way around, because I was turning around this car park, trying to find the mounds. All the trees have gone. Now, it's made me curious, because the mounds are quite large. And there's sort of bumps there, but I don't think that's them. They're too far away. We got a little bit of ground damage. But if you know the story about Two in a Glow in Ellis of Bull, if you read Discover the Ark of the Covenant, there's going to be a different book on this coming out soon anyway, is what you'll see is there, what Wilson Blackett worked out, is that man-made mounds don't show up on Google. So you've got the hill in Ellis of Bull, this high, the top so many 100 feet is artificial. That's one of the ways you can show it. Same with buildings. If you go to New York, you just get a flat island. You don't get, big buildings on there. Same with the artificial mounds, same with pyramids. So I don't know how Google works or how it knows or how it can work it out, but there's a difference. The mounds don't show up. Weird, isn't it? So if you're looking around this car park here, instead of seeing a big mound, you just see flat, which does really imply that the mounds are natural. This isn't proof or evidence or anything like that, but it's another one of those things which fits with the story, yeah? Now also remember, it's full of trees, which fits the descriptions again of ancient Glastonbury and what it's all about. A bit of a ridge there. You see a natural ridge, but you won't see the mounds, and there's loads of mounds. So go up. It's a nature reserve. You can go in, you can park. I think the parking's free. Why not? It's an easy place to do. Right, exit ground level view. Back into my helicopter. What I'm going to do now is click on Glastonbury Tour. Quick fly around Britain. Isn't this great fun? Here we are. Let's go down and down and down. Down and down and down. It's just not big enough. Up on here. Here's Glastonbury. And what we're going to do, we're going to have a panorama around. Oh, that's pretty cool. They put that on there. That is really cool. What I'm trying to show is, you'll notice around here, particularly back in those days, it was flooded swamps. There was no vast, dense trees or woods or anything like that. Somerset level is a completely different kind of scenery. So it's not going to go Glastonbury or anything. And Glastonbury Tour must have an amazing history, which, I'm going to look into it more, actually, and find out more about it. It just doesn't have this history. It's not the key point. And if we zoom out, you can see if you're running Britain, I thought I'd turn the map upside down a second again, you're going to be in the centre. Don't forget the old roads there. Oh, the place called Wall as well, which ties in with this, Glascoat and that around here. Again, you can read all about in the Wilson Blackett books how this is not, well, right, there might be some Roman elements, if at all. This clearly predates all that. And you got the link with Gotland there. So it's this is the area. Oh yeah, I was going to do a little bit more from here. Let you look at that a second. Glasses, where we go. Let's make sure I cover off the bits I want to cover off. Yeah, a little bit about Arthur the First then. One of the things we talked about is that, and this I had noticed this from reading the Wilson Blackett books, is that one of the curious things about this area as well, there is a fictional character, or legendary character, who maybe isn't fictionary at all, a local hero. That's what I'm going to do. Always a gamble when you do this live, but we're going to have a go live. I haven't checked this before. But I'm going to have a quick look on good old... Oh, hang on a second. Wikipedia. Not for the right answer, just know there are answers, that's all. Is Guy of Warwick. This is who's sticking my neck out now, because I don't know what it's going to say. Right, legendary English hero of romance, popular in England and France. The story is Guy to be part of the Matter of England. Romances. Okay, right, where's it come from? Right, let's look at the plot. The core of the legend is that Guy falls in love with the Lady Felice. In order to wed Felice, he must prove his valour, chivalric deeds, become a knight, travels widely, fights monsters, does all this kind of thing. In one recension, in Foreign Wars, it doesn't mention his campaign. What we're looking for is... What's right? What we're looking for there, sorry, I shouldn't do this live, should I? It's a shocker. Anyway, the Guy of Warwick, part of his story is he goes off, like these foreign wars they talk about, unfortunately it gives more details about them there. But he goes off to France and he fights these battles. There we go, this kind of picture here. It says there he's in the Ardennes, he's over in France, he's fighting battles, he ends up fighting at Soissy, different things. Now, the curious thing about Guy of Warwick's story is that it matches the story of Arthur the First. So why have we got Guy of Warwick in Arthur? We've got Guy of Warwick's sword as well. Okay, so he does way earlier than what they're saying. We're talking about 4th century. Right, sorry, it's not going to help us so much, I don't think. Okay. Now, this relationship between Guy of Warwick, the legendary hero who went off and fought in France, did a very similar life story to Arthur First. Wikipedia's particularly useless on giving any information on that. Was first noted by good old Edward Lloyd. Edward Lloyd's the one, of course, who spotted the language links between Breton, Cymraeg, Cernu, Manx, the different, when he called them Celtic languages, which is the label that got misused afterwards. Someone on the group, I'm sorry I forgot your name a second, made an interesting point that Celt also means hidden. And maybe this is some very clever way of hiding some history or something like that, which I think is worth thinking about. But as far as the Celts being the ones referred to, there's no ancient records to Celts in Britain or Ireland. And it all comes to that. And it stems from the work of Edward Lloyd, who I don't blame in any way, did wonderful work preserving the Welsh language, doing a lot of important things. And he died quite young. So it's none of these situations where he died and then his work got abused, I would suggest. But Edward Lloyd also pointed out that Guy of Warwick seems to match with Arthur I. So again, why is it in this area? Right, so we got other things. All right, the other one then is the description, the Latin text, William and Malmesbury, that was, right? I'm not sure I got that right or not. We got Glascoat. Okay, I think we covered most of it, actually. Harts Hill. Well, right, just to finish it then, what you could read about then is Wilson and Blackett tried very hard to get Warwickshire interested. You know, this is... What an amazing tourist centre. What a great thing for the county to have. And I'm going to wrap things up there because it's getting quite late and we covered most of the key points. There's one thing I want to finish with, though. And this is a bit of a shock. If there's any more questions on this, please ask, because there might be some areas which I've got the answers for and just haven't mentioned them. But I think we've done pretty well. At the end of the day, you want to get the books is the best to get a full folio list. Right, my last slide. Watch this. This is a state of how we've become, all right? This is pretty... hang on, let's get through all those. Right. Who knows what this emblem is? This logo. Emblem. Yeah, emblem, you call it, wouldn't you? County emblem. This to me is just amazing. It's well, what is it? First of all, clearly it's a bear, and the bear's chained to. Well, it turns out that's a staff. It's supposed to be. It's depicted in different ways. This is a really, really, really ancient and important symbol. So when we talk about ancient standards and symbols, I'm going to chat online with David and a couple of other people. This shows how ancient this is. What this represents, you've got the old staff in the middle, like hen staff, like the place near here. And what we have then, if you think about Arthur then, the name also refers to the bear. Arthur is bear. Arth is bear in Welsh. So we've got the bear and Arthur connections. The reason why the bear is chained on the Warwickshire coat of arms, which is what this is, I think people have got that right, I'm sure, in the comments. The Warwickshire coat of arms, the cricket team, they all carry this, the bear, the chained bear with a bit of wood. Very strange, yeah? If you look at astronomy and the way the skies work, the idea is you have this great staff in the centre, and the bear, Arth, which refers to Arthur. It's a strange coincidence. Why Warwickshire? Of all the counties, this could be happening. And if you watch as the movement goes on, the procession, the Arthur, the bear star constellation, goes round and round perpetually on this chain. So this is, I didn't know this as we came onto this research, one of the most phenomenal, ancient, wonderful coat of arms. I don't know what the other things apply to, the crown, the three crosses, I'm sure they're all important. But just think about the bear, the Arth, going round on its celestial journey, held on the chain so he can't escape. Wonderful. Think how ancient that is. Now, watch this. This broke my breaking heart, this did. It's not used anymore. Because, well, all right, they call it the bear and the ragged staff, all right? The old staff, ragged staff. And bizarrely, they've got no idea why. This is what depresses you about how our country's run. Right, the Warwickshire Bear has represented Warwickshire County Council since 1931. It's been around for Warwickshire a lot longer than that. Anyway, I think the cricket club used out longer than that. Anyway, the bear and ragged staff origins are lost in distant past. They're not lost. Think about it. Think about it. Think about your Arthur connections as well, and the bear. It all. Anyway. The Earls of Warwick, since the 14th century, they were going back a bit. They got the coat of arms, 1931. Does anyone know why this is not used anymore? Go on, have some guesses. I want to see some guesses. I want bear arms here. Pythons, mate. What you benching, but this crest, so right, Earls of Warwick, the regiments wear the badge. The Warwickshire Constabulary, the police have it on their badges. I was going to say, yeah, 1889 they were using it as Warwickshire County Council. I don't know why that's different to what the council they're talking about. They just change these things for the sake of it. What does it symbols? They got no idea, do they? A bear argent, which means standing upright, muzzled of the first, collared and chained, and supported a ragged staff of the second on a chief also of three coarse crosslets of the first. I mean, that's an awful long way of saying absolutely nothing at all. So in ordinary terms, this means a silver bear with a red muzzle and gold collar and chain supporting a silver... It's now this. They've taken the chain and everything off. And the reason is, of course, animal welfare concerns. It's considered politically incorrect to have the bear chained on the crest. They've got no idea. It's not really the bear. It's not a physical bear. It refers to Arthur, and it refers to the bear constellation processing around the centre of the universe, which is well, not the universe, but you know, the constellations. This is the fascinating thing about it, because the other great thing about this, that shows more ancient connections. Why would the British be doing this? Because this idea is very much an ancient Babylonian Middle Eastern idea, supposedly, although it's obviously British as well. It's not even known. There's no exact date when the crest was changed. So I know it's a Sunday evening, but some little bugger's gone in there and decided it's not appropriate and changed it. Sometimes between 1990 and 1991. There was no vote on this. There's no public consultation. There was no discussion, does anyone know why we've got this emblem, what it means? The council have confirmed, I don't even know what a Warwickshire accent is, was a bit blummy, I suppose. Anyway, the council confirmed, the Welsh is bad, I don't know the Welsh. The Welsh council confirmed the driving force behind the change which have a more modern image for an organisation going through a period of modernisation. Maybe we should start the conversation. That, apparently, this piece of crap here, compared to this beautiful thing, that's more modern. It's more modern because it's badly drawn, maybe, and it's not... I don't know. Anyway, I'm very interested to see what people think about it. I thought it was an interesting one to sign off on, because our history is disappearing fast. So this, which you can work out with the chain and all the emblems, I'm sure the colours are significant. Everything's significant, as opposed to this children's doodle. You know, pathetic, isn't it? But people of Warwickshire, people of Lichfield, you going to play us out on?
Yes.
Be proud of your area, and also realise this Britain's hidden history is not just about Wales, okay? It's not just me and Alan Wilson banging on about, Glamorgan. This is really important. This was the capital. This is where the main cities were. And what seems to tragically happen is, first of all, like all these things, there's the comet smashed it up. That made a big difference. And then the Vandals, Mercian Vandals, came along. Pay no attention, we have to turn our backs on these maniacs. Thank you, Marshall. Unfortunately, it's on the top of all the letters. And so this old trace is gone, but it's still there in the names. It's still in the names. You can still drive around. You can see the names. You can see the burial mounds. You can see Arthur's bear on the crest. It's so maddening, because when you try and tell people about this tomorrow or whenever you talk to your friends, they're just going to say you're mad. There we go. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed that anyway. Smokey the Bear, yeah, Smokey the Bear. I think whoever at the council changed it had been smoking, I think.
What?
Bob. Health and safety gone mad. Just an excuse, Guna. Just an excuse to remove us further from the truth. They do that, everything using PC as an excuse. Yeah, I tend to think that. I don't think anyone really thinks that's cruel to a bear. I have to say, mind, years ago, I went to Bern in Switzerland. I used to have close friends and stuff. I go back and forth to Bern. And they... God, it's a long time ago. I must have been a child, because it was 20 years ago. God, actually, when was it? Before I was officially even alive. They still had a pit in the middle of the town with a bear in it, because the bear is the official logo, whatever you want to call it, the symbol of Bern, which means bear, I believe. And actually, a bear, a very unhappy looking thing, absolutely huge, just sat there eating all day. People threw him snacks. Unchain my bear. Thank you, Andrew Whelan. Good to see you on board. 3 crosses of St. George. Do you think so? I'm not. See, not really George crosses, because I think this is what you call a 5-cross cross. If you count all the crosses, there's 5 crosses on each cross. I'm sure Dr. Pigeon here would be able to tell me something about that. And the crown on the top looks a bit like a castle, doesn't it, rather than a crown? You see the way it's done? It's like bricks. I'm not sure. That is a crown on the top. It actually looks more like a castle. Interesting. Warwickshire Castle. Warwick Castle. I mean, even then, you see, if you look at Warwickshire history, you got all this idea of the Kingmaker and Simon de Montfort, all these people, and how they marry into the Welsh royal family. There's so much history, we just get little snippets of. Never get to see the whole thing. Right, what are we going to do? I need to set down the show.
Anything suggestions, or should I just play?
Well, I'm in the mood for a song now.
Okay.
But I haven't got any...
song that I've heard, I can probably play.
Yeah, well, I want to do that. I want to belt out a bit of Re Number O'Hee, but I haven't practiced.
Okay.
We're going to take a whirl. We're going to hope that my guitar's in tune. And I can find the music. Gordon Bennett. Come on. I can do this. Totally unrehearsed, no practice, nothing. I'm going to speed up a bit. I know that's a bit slow on here. Right, cover your ears, quick. You going to take us away on, or am I going to take us? Come here to the... Oh, hang on. Hang on, let's get the music on the screen. Right, get ready to sing along if you know the words, or if you don't, just pretend you do. That's what I do. Right, ready? Dwight in cofio Maxim, does neb yn ein abod o. Mae 1,600 flynyddoedd an answer really call. Van aeth Magnus Maximus o Gymru, and I flooding tree and on the tree. Hang on, you can join in, there we go. Sure, I'm cheating. Adeline gen nel gyfan, o heddw weli ni. Rini am yr o hi. Sorry. Am yr o hi. Gwaith a'i pam ar y ffordd, gwaith a'i pam ar y ffordd, gwaith a'i pam ar y ffordd, fi'n am yr o hi. Keep going. With the gwynt o'r dyflau, rwy'n y storm o'r môr, o'r bed yr felt yr wybran, a'r gwaedden y darren o'r cor, bydd dagrau'r gwendr, a llyfed y daiag y llaw, a dywyd o'i ffagi yn cwmpas, lun barred yn doriad yr wan, rili am yr o hi. Gwaith a'i pawb yr ffobyn, gwaith a'i pawb yr ffobyn, gwaith a'i pawb yr ffobyn, fili am yr o'r Cofion a'i ffag sy'n ledu, a dair yn glon yn yr dar. Fel blwyddyn gyr bron gwylwyr, mil ddwyn am y tani dde'r ffordd. Gwaith a'i bodig John Gavin, gwaith a'i rhin ffagir hi'r clw. Yr boethel am y hyd yw'r hanser, bydd yr iaith Gymraeg yn fyw, rili am yr o di. Gwaith a'i pawb ar y ffobyn, gwaith a'i pawb ar y ffobyn, gwaith a'i pawb ar y ffobyn, rili am yr o hyd. Da iawn, Mark, very good. There we are. Hope everyone enjoyed that. Oh, dear me. Supposed to be going to bed. It's 10 o'clock. Not quite 10 o'clock. There we go. Brilliant. I hope everyone enjoyed that. You've seen the tricks of the trade now. Go to that website. It's fantastic. And you can set the scroll speed, and if it's too difficult, make it easier. All that kind of stuff. Which suits a basic strummer like me. All right. So, so quick look at some of the comments. Well, I think we just did quite a lot of them, didn't we? And I think, as it's 10 o'clock already, and it's Sunday, it's on a school night.
When you're ready, I can smite the camera.
Oh, yeah, I usually come and smite the camera. You can do it with a sword or by hand?
Ooh, I reckon the basketball.
The basketball. Oh no. We've actually got lights as well now, so you can actually see me, you know what I mean? So it's gonna right, okay, there we are. The country's gone to the dogs now, you know, we've got American sports there. So I'm going to do now, if you're new to that, I'm a bit worn out actually. I should have done the singing like I finished myself. Alright, I hope you enjoyed that show. Hope you covered everything there, did our best. Trying to make it a bit more professional. Now we've got like these big crowds. Used to just like, you know, small number of people and having a chat. I knew almost everybody. So I'm a bit more pro now. Hope you enjoyed that. Right, till the next time then, I'm going to say, watch the lights get smashed. Good night to everyone. And yeah, I'll leave the comments open in 10 minutes. So have a look at the live chat. There's always great questions. Any comments to me, please you can email me, ross@cymroglyphics.com. And I do apologise. I know I'm behind in replying. I've hardly been here all week. Got loads, so don't take it personally. And I'll try and get through them as quickly as I can. And I do try and read everything. I always read the comments on YouTube as well. And if you got, you know, constructive criticism, preferably, rather than I was just rubbish, I'm always happy to take on. Well, all right, it was rubbish is fair comment on the singing. But even then, I don't get upset, all right? So don't feel, you know, we're always trying to make things better and all learn together. Always be learning. All right, so thank you very much for your company. all those people who come again and again and again. And thank you very much to those Patreon supporters and members, and subscribe. And if you can help in any way, buy some books, make a donation. And don't forget, tomorrow, it's tomorrow, chance to meet the great druid himself. He's fantastic, man. You'll love it. You will love it. And I'm looking forward to it. I look forward to seeing lots of people there tomorrow night. It's free contributions are asked to pay for the cost of putting the thing on. Please help Luke out. He's not a wealthy man or anything. But apart from that, it's voluntary and it's all fun. It's get together and have a... I just dread to think what Daryl's going to say. I can't put a bleeper on him when he's live. He's a little bit fruity sometimes. Just you've been warned. He can be quite fruity. But my boys are coming. I don't find it offensive or anything. It's good old-fashioned British straight talking. Right, okay. And I mean, pre-Victorian kind of straight talking. Right, Narnie B. I'm going to try and hit the right button. All right. So good night, everyone. So peace, which is before you get by this massive planet which is coming striking in. Till next time, Heddwch. Not so hard, on.
That's no moon.
That's no moon. That's a fully operational Death Star.